Welcome everybody to the quarterfinals, the first of two quarterfinal games today. I am Xenaero, and I will be bringing you the Vengeance League game between Pistol Kings 3 and Boomers and the Zoomer. Joining me today is Commissioner HumanBones, who has just arrived, hot and fresh. Hello, Bones. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Doing quite well. Now, what we have here, we have two different maps this time instead of one. Pistol Kings 3, I believe, is walking in with the advantage, so we will be seeing one map. Which map will we be seeing first?
So we'll be seeing map 36, which is Future Crossings. It was ported over from Quake, actually. It's a Quake CTF map. That will be PK3's home field, so we will see 2 rounds on that map. And BNZ has chosen a classic map 31 Mountain Zero home field, so we'll be seeing at least one match on that map.
And in the playoffs of Vengeance League, the rules are a little different. Instead of playing for total amount of flag captures, teams are now locked into winning the map and is required to win 3 maps. So be that in however many rounds we'll see it, we'll see the first 2 maps on map 36, the next 2 maps, if applicable, on map 31, and then it will alternate from that point on.
Correct. And if it's easier for everyone to remember, it is slightly different in Vengeance. Teams in the playoffs are awarded points. So, if you win a map, that's 1 point. Obviously, if you lose, that's 0. But if you tie, both teams are awarded 0.5 points. So, the object or the goal is to get to 3 points, and whoever gets to 3 points first is the victor.
Well, there we go. Now, regarding the 2 teams coming into the quarterfinals, what do you think the matchup is going to look like? Like, do you have anything to say about these 2 teams?
Yeah, I mean, we saw PK3 play their home field in the regular season, and they were very dominant, which I am sure that's why they chose that home field. They're comfortable there. It's a wildly different map than map 31. Map 31 is really straightforward, frag heavy. Unless your team collapses, you're not going to give up 5 flags. So it's going to be a grind. And when you combine both maps together, it makes for a really interesting matchup. I think PK3 probably has the upper hand on their own home field. We saw them dominate the middle during the week that they played this map. There's a sphere in the middle, so Dragon and Toby really dominated that, and it allowed Chain to have free reign of the enemy's flag stand. BNZ, on the other hand, they have some catching up to do, but with a veteran team consisting of Stal and Hate Daddy, and Xwiz, I do not have any worries about them doing that. And then going into map 31, Stal, if a lot of people don't know, is probably one of the greatest fraggers known to multiplayer Doom. So for him, this is a perfect map choice. Hate is right behind him. So it's going to be a really good matchup for these 2 teams.
All right, well, this is a do or die for either team. Going forward, which team will they be facing?
Well, that's going to depend, of course, upon who wins. But if PK3, actually, it's the same for both teams. So either team that wins, PK3 or BNZ, they go on to face the number 1 seeded educated drug dealers, who we've seen a number of times on this stream. And so yeah, either one of those teams that win today will go on to face the best team in the league. So that's a tall task after getting through the quarterfinals round.
No doubt about that. All right, now without any further delay, we're going to hop in the server and see if we can show off the map a little bit. Now, there we go. It is capturing map 36. We are looking at the first 2 rounds we are going to be seeing. As Bones had indicated, it does have Quake-like design. The podium is pretty wide out in the open. There are multiple overlaying paths, almost maze-like by Doom standards. The rocket launcher and super shotgun available. There is a ledge out with green armor that does thread through the base and provide easy access to mid. In the middle of mid, what the camera's looking at now, and what you saw on the holding screen, is a soul sphere that gives you 100 extra health and is pivotal for a team to control, especially in slugfest close quarters maps like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we saw PK3 do, as I mentioned, was they took almost complete control of the middle on this map, and they made it really, really hard for the other team to even get through. So BNZ is going to have to probably, if they haven't taken a look at the stream of that game, they're going to have a lot of adjusting to do in the first couple minutes, because PK3 really has that middle strategy pat down. Down pat, I should say.
Pat down pat. It doesn't matter. It's game time. Where is everybody? I see PK3.
It's 8:30 in the morning.
It's 8:30 in the morning. We rolled out of bed to bring you this game, and I believe we'll be getting into round 1 here soon. I see PK3 in here, and I think I just saw BNZ as well practicing. So we'll be getting underway here in a minute. And yeah, we did say 8:30 in the morning for us, but depending on where you are on this lovely flat Earth, there's a whole variety of times it could be.
Yes, we go actually by the Central European summer schedule, so I believe it's 5:30 p.m. over there. And for most players in the United States are situated on the East Coast. There's just a few of us over here. It is, of course, 11:30 in the morning for them, so not too bad on a lovely, dreary Sunday morning. It's going to be dreary for someone. A couple people, if they don't win.
In fact, 4 people. There are 4 people who will not be advancing, and that is highly unfortunate.
It's true. It's been a good season, actually. We've really appreciated your streams. It's a bit different than the classic WDL setting, so it's been cool to have you here. And I'm excited for the playoffs because, with a season where we've introduced so much new stuff, so many new maps, we've had a lot of different players come in. It's been really exciting. So to see it culminate with a matchup like this, with players, PK3 having Chain and Dragon and Toby, stashing IM1 HP U0 down on their bench there, going up against Stal, Hate Daddy, X-Wiz, Ion. I mean, that's an awesome matchup. It's not really favorable for either team, so yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how close quarters maps like 36 and 31 will factor into a team who doesn't bring big fraggers to the board like Stalin Hatred, because it's pretty much do or die if you do not control these key points on those 2 maps in particular. So as far as quarterfinal showdowns go, or playoff showdowns in general, this is very concentrated. So I'm very much looking forward to the absolute mayhem that it will that will result from this. We'll try to keep up with the flag carriers as best we can. We are playing Xenaero, so we will not be able to hit one key to follow the carrier. The technology just isn't there yet.
That's right. But, these maps actually, the map we saw, Future Crossings, has really only been played in a regular season match. This is the first time it's been seen in a high pressure situation. So that always adds another level of excitement. It's hard to give predictions on a map that not a lot of people have played. But the juxtapose of map 31 being one of the most overplayed maps of all time, it's just a really interesting combination. And then you have these 2 frag heavy teams. These maps are a little bit different than the typical, or I should say the maps that have been chosen. If you look at the trend of, specialized maps like rocket jumping and making it a little bit easier for runners, these are more like throwback maps. in a sense. So you're going to see, I think you're going to see a really high fragging playoff game here.
Yeah, it would definitely be a slugfest. Less of, I don't think we'll see that many flag standoffs, at least not prolonged. There is a time limit of 10 minutes or a flag capture limit of 5 flag captures, whichever happens first. We'll be getting into round 1 between PK3 and BNZ. Sometime, maybe, possibly.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I need the map. Where's the map? Let's see some action. Here we go. Starting off on Stall, who did pick up the Soul Sphere, and is at 200 health. What's he waiting for? He's waiting for X-Ways to jump over top of him and get blasted.
That's an interesting spot to defend because you're sort of limited if somebody comes in behind you. I mean, the only way in behind you is a rocket jump, but it's possible. So
let's for people who are unfamiliar with the map, we'll free roam a little bit before we start following people, and watch the flow of how people are entering and exiting the base. Watching the red base for now. A lot of spawns on the lower. A lot of entries are coming in through the middle of this middle entrance, and less about the side. The side does pose a little bit more of a problem because you have to get to the flag stand from lower, and that entails either the jump pad or getting around to another jump pad. To be honest with you, it's not too optimal for a high octane runner.
Right. And it's a really interesting map in that there are more ways out than there are in, like easily accessible ways out. So it's kind of a log jam there when you're trying to get into the flag room, but on your way out, you have an extra added path that takes you up into that top area, and you can jump out towards the middle. So it's a little bit interesting in that respect. Typically, if you have a way into a map or a flag base, you're gonna have a way out, as we have both flag carriers with the flag here.
And Chain is practically out to mid, but has no health to speak of. Flag dropped, and in a pretty safe spot. X-Way's in his own base now with the blue flag. If he gets returned and not dropped, what a last-second save from Hatred. Excellent work.
That's the thing, is those jump pads, they're not doomed jump pads. They've been adjusted slightly to have that Quake playstyle. So if you run in them, like X-Wiz did, you go flying in a direction you're not expecting to go.
Blue flag taken.
We're trying to follow the carriers, but yeah, I saw it too. In classic Doom Slugfest manner, there's no touches. But then all of a sudden, there's all the touches.
Yep, and that was great teamwork from PK3.
And we did see for a split second Dragon being escorted by the rest of his team. And that is an excellent capture. Required the whole team to basically take all the bullets for him. And sometimes that's what it takes.
That's right, and if you look at the frags, they're pretty even. So teams are meeting each other on the frag level in the middle. And we're also tied by flags, so it's been a pretty even matchup so far.
I can't actually see flags on the scoreboard.
Oh, well, that's not good. Oh, that was also not good.
Well, we'll just have to make do without the less important statistic in Doom capture flag. We'll be fine. Frags do matter, but flags matter most. Teams are tied 1-1 in round 1.
We've seen some really good returns so far, and we almost saw PK3 score, but BNZ got the return.
And Chain has the flag right now, and if he's able to make it to his pedestal, and they're jumping below trying to get a last grazing shot off, but to no avail. Chain does score, bringing PK3 one flag up over BNZ.
Yeah, that was really good teamwork. Dragon assisted Chain getting that flag across, and Toby was doing some good work as well. Just kind of, taking out some of the guys that were chasing Chain across the map.
Both flags out, although not out entirely. X was wounded and he saves his own flag, which is definitely preferable in that kind of situation where the enemy flag carrier is already at their pedestal. Excellent work from X-Wiz.
who are you watching right now?
Right now I'm watching X-Ways, but I'm about to switch to Toby, who has just grabbed the flag and is on his way out at the speed of light, but brought down in the middle of mid. He jumped on the enemy player's head.
Yeah.
Paid dearly for it.
Yeah, that jump, you think you're going to make it across, and then somebody shoots you, and you end up in another direction.
Someone just grabbed the sphere, but I'm not sure who. They definitely got dropped very quickly there.
Yes.
So they've already been on low health. Controlling the
Stout.
sphere is important, but you don't have that armor advantage as you would with a Mega Sphere or with Mega Armor. That damage reduction makes all the difference in the world with a gun like the Super Shotgun bearing down on you at pretty much all points in this map.
Yeah, so far it's really hard to tell what's working for teams and what's not. You know, if they're getting the sphere, they're getting taken down pretty quickly. And I think that's, you know, that's a good strategy to have. Don't even let someone grab the sphere like as Toby. Okay, let's follow Toby because Toby's almost out.
Yeah, Toby is out, threads the needle and scores without, I'm pretty sure without even being touched.
Yep, pretty much.
But that's how these blitz maps work. If there's a gap in the defensive net anywhere along mid or in their base, the flag's gone. Like without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and that's an example of using that third way out of the base that I was talking about that you really can't get in. So Toby just ran up, grabbed the flag, and then went through that back entrance.
And Wiz was dropped trying to cross mid. Stahl was waiting on the pedestal trying to get out of the base. And let's get returned. Trying to find Chain here. Chain no longer has the flag. Who has the flag? I don't even know anymore.
I'm not sure.
It's absolute mayhem happening in the mid here. When the flag gets returned, can Dragon capture it? And barely touches the flag. Touches the fabric with the tips of his hands, bringing PK3 up 4-1.
Yeah, that was an insane series of events there. PK3 did such a good job of not only returning the flag, but making sure that when their player with the flag of the enemy died, that they picked it up. So really good teamwork from PK3.
And the flag carrier for BNC got dropped right on the pedestal, and it was returned last second by PK3, letting them get another touch out. Offense, like, benches are cleared. There is just mad offense everywhere.
Yeah, and that's typically what you're going to see happen when you have a team that's down 4-1. It's like, okay, what we've been doing isn't working. Let's just go all out, try and find a way to make this work as we're approaching almost only 2 minutes left in this round.
And in very short maps like this, there is anything can happen in 2 minutes. We could see a reverse sweep, no problem with that, but X-Way's trying to get out through mid, however blocked by a teammate. Both flags are currently at their pedestals. Well, not anymore. X-Way's with a touch, looking for a way to mid. Hopefully, he gets blasted forward, covers himself.
Oh,
and
if he can,
teammate clears that. And it's a return and a score with help from his teammates to drop the enemy flag carrier. Great score from BNZ. And as we were talking about it, we don't watch Dragon for about half a second, and he's already across mid and ends the round with PK3 taking round 1 5-2.
Yeah, I was actually still watching X-Wiz after he scored that second cap for BNZ. He ran out through the top entrance and he was waiting for Dragon to do the same, but before he knew it, Dragon was already jumping across the map, getting ready to score. So that's, like you've mentioned, that's how quick things can happen on a blitz map like that.
Now the question is, how will BNZ try to adapt to like what unfolded in front of us there? I mean, that wasn't, in my eyes, that was pretty decisive. They were struggling to get those 2 captures while PK3 was just running it right past them.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and obviously these players are accomplished. They have their own, things that they feel comfortable with. But the way that Stal was defending under that bridge leaves him kind of open. Like if he doesn't get that one shot, someone can jump over him, grab the flag, and then they're kind of lost. Like from him, So I think he maybe needs to relook at where he's positioning himself as the defender. So that could be something that they do. Doesn't look like there are any lineup changes here. So let's take a look and see how they adjust.
Watching X-Wiz right now as he kind of floats around his own base. Grabs Sphere and is on his way in for another touch. He is going to remain their main runner. Toby, I believe we saw Toby cross mid. X falling back to the enemy base, like within a striking distance of all those spawns, and kind of playing up top. I'm not sure if he was trying to bait them back into their base, but whatever he was trying to do did not work very well. Toby, with the flag up top, needs the flag returned. There it is, the first score for round 2 in PK3's favor. Wiz did not try to run it past mid at any point. That could cost him in the long run, especially as far as momentum goes.
Yeah, and it looks like Styles having a hard time stopping these guys from grabbing the flag. I mean, he can adjust and get them like he just did out in the middle, but I really think where he's positioning himself is kind of strange. I don't know if that's going to help him if he gets killed. But X-Wiz with a pickup here, and he's trying to do some moves. He's out into the middle.
First shot good, second shot good, but he can't reload quick enough to get the third shot. But Hatred picked up the flag and brought it home to the base. He needs to drop these defenders chasing him, and the flag carrier has to go down. Flag returned.
Yep, Chain is across, but he's trying to deal with the flag carrier on his own with the enemy's flag. Stal managed to escape there. Chain gets taken down.
We're just watching Stallion kind of hang around up at the top part of the enemy base until it's relatively clear, because it does
got a good shot here.
It does take a little bit of time to get up the jump pad, so you have to time it very well.
He's doing a little bit of back and forth here.
Yeah, you really don't have a clear path coming in from the lower side. It definitely hurts somebody to be way out in the open like that.
And Chain actually managed to get over to his own base. He's gonna he's not gonna grab the cap, but he's still positioning himself really well. Chain has, with these flags that he's been holding, very hard to kill. Very hard to kill. He's been getting like at least 6 to 10 frags each time he's holding the flag as he gets on another killing spree. So they gotta really do a better job of trying to kill him.
And Chain just can't keep the flag at the pedestal on his own. And it's just mayhem of flags being picked up and returned.
He's doing some good cover here, but of course Stal has their flag again, hiding out in that top area.
And Toby is in his base, waiting for the flag to be returned. Returns it on his own. Can the pedestal be cleared enough? It does. Toby scores.
There you go.
2-0.
That was a really good series of events for PK3. BNZ tried to hold out as long as they could. It felt like they lost the flag a little bit more.
And the flag is dropped like an inch away from the pedestal. BNZ able to finally chain it in. So close to being returned last second. Another heartbreaker. Waiting at any given point. Chain trying to get out. No. He gets returned. Toby. Across. Another score.
Yeah,
3-1 for PK3.
Right before Toby picked up that flag, Stal had a really great return on Chain. Chain was doing some like hide and seek stuff, trying to juke him out. Stal was onto him, but Toby just sat there and waited for that flag to get returned, bolted out, scored.
And we're coming up on the 5-minute mark, halfway into round 2. BNZ needs to wake up and do something. Now, which I believe this is their home field, is it not?
No, actually, this is PK3's home field.
Oh, this is PK3's home field, okay.
Not necessarily unexpected to lose on your enemy's home field, but obviously in a long series matchup like this, the goal is eventually you will need to win, most likely, a map on this home field. So you're right, they have some adjusting to do. Still, 5 minutes left.
Well, the comforting thing is that they're not being shut out. They're giving him a run, at least some resistance.
Yeah, it's not a shutout. BNZ has gotten a number of flags out. They've been involved in a bunch of standoffs, too. Just haven't gone their way yet. PK3 seems to really be shutting down now. Maybe turtling up a little bit, playing a little bit more defensively here.
Toby kind of playing a little bit of defense there before he makes a run across. The man is hungry for flags. Chain already across. Needs the flag returned. He got eyes on the enemy carrier.
Yeah. Although, here we go with the Chain. I'm sorry, but Chain's been doing some fucking great work. Every time he has the flag, it is impossible, except for right there, for for BNZ to kill him. He is just doing some really good work extending those standoffs.
Cast his curse right there, but you start watching a player and they're like, oh, they're doing great work, but then they just get mulched right in front of you. And I think Chain thought he had the flag at that point. But no, Chain does play a lot of more modern FPS like Quake Champion, so he is well versed in this style of how to play these types of maps, the finesse of movement.
Yeah, you couldn't say he's a modern human being. He's a little bit older than the rest of us, but he definitely plays some modern games, so he is right there with everybody.
Well, whatever they're doing is working, so that's good for them to walk into quarterfinals round. That's why you have that higher seed. You do well in your own home field. You set the tone. You set the pace.
Yeah, I mean, this map is just so hard to defend. Stal is doing his best, but PK3 is, as I said, they were turtling up. When one person on their team grabs the flag, the mid almost always pushes up into BNZ's base. Oh, there was almost a rocket jump there to pick up the red flag, but Stal was on top of it.
He couldn't drop Dragon. Dragon already across. Yeah, it's 4-1. Hatred kind of got, what we saw there, Hatred kind of got behind the 8 ball, trying to scramble to get in front of the flag carrier, but the way the map is laid out, if you're not defending from higher ground, it seems like your options are heavily limited. And Dragon waiting to try to pick up the flag there at the very edge, or at least assist his carrier, but no dice. It is a full return for both teams, except for now, X-Ways has the blue flag, but gets caught in the corner and the flag is returned.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that makes this map a little wacky is that, like, the thing that Stal did where he returned that flag right before somebody rocket jumped to pick it up, and a good cap from BNZ there. They're not done yet, but time's ticking. Is the map is so big that you almost don't have time as a defender to get back to the flag pedestal if you're returning it from, like some weird spot in the back or in the middle. So what Dragon did was he just took advantage of the fact that Stal was not sitting there as a turret on the flag and just grabbed it and ran.
Stallion across mid. Flag's returned. Can they keep it there? Chain does touch it. Where is Chain going? Tries to cover his back with some rockets. Stallion could not pursue. 1 minute left. If there's a time for BNC to pull it together, the time is now. Good shotgun work from Stal to drop it in the mid, but it is picked up. Blue
there you
returns their flag, and then Dragon scores it. That'll be it for round 2. 5-2 in favor of PK3.
Yeah, that was the same score as round 1. BNC, I think they made some adjustments, but they just weren't enough. What Chain was doing when he was grabbing the flag was just really, as I said, hard to kill. Really hard to kill. And so he was extending those flag standoffs. He was making it more chaotic. And that probably favors PK3 a little bit because, what BNZ wants is they want to get onto a situation where they can just outfrag their opponent. And on a map like that, where you create all this chaos and it's like constant running, it probably favors, the players that are a little bit more of the modern era. So good job from PK3 on that one.
And that puts BNZ in kind of a tough spot. You never The idea going into a best-of-5 playoff game is you want to take a map away from your opponents on their home field, because then you have your 2 maps coming up on your home field. Presumably, let's presume that BNZ will win both map 31 games, which is their home field. Then they're back on PK3's home field. And then you're faced with the same question, what do we do?
Right, and that's the hard part about this, is ideally you can, your goal, if you're the lower seed, obviously your goal is to win one of those first 2 maps. But if you can't win, at least tie, because that makes it a little bit easier for you moving forward. So yeah, it's really tough, especially when you get into round 5 and it's like, damn, we lost 2 rounds on those first 2 maps. Like, what do we do different? If you can get there, you know, hopefully in the back of their minds right now, they're thinking about how they can make that adjustment. But for now, we are on to map 31.
Welcome to map 31, one of the grindiest maps in Doom capture flag history, made by Tango of Supercharged fame, if you know the single-player aspect of Doom. This map is a wrist breaker, back breaker, soul breaker. Long time, so many rounds have lasted an extremely long time, if not gone the full time limit, due to how the map's laid out. There is no hardcover. And now PK3 is fielding what is that name? I'm 1 HP UO?
U0.
U0. Oh, he's oh my god.
Very smart. Very smart. Yes, so I think what they did was they took out Chain and they put in IM1 because he is a European and his ping's a little bit better. So when you're dealing with
and it looks like Hatred is timing out right now as we speak, actually.
Yeah.
And it appears as though they've fielded their 4th before Hatred is fully out of the server, which is always a smart move. It indicates the team is actually communicating, which is critical in a quarterfinals round.
Yep, absolutely. And Ion jumps in. We've seen Ion play here a couple times on our streams, but Ion is European, so he comes in with the ping advantage, and he's an excellent runner. This might not be the kind of map for him, but if anyone's going to figure it out, it will be Ion. You know, the thing that you're missing when Hate comes out is really that veteran presence and that frag power. But, you know, you still have Stal and you still have X-Wizard, 2 of the oldest players, so Ion's in good company.
Yeah, and speaking of a ping advantage, you do have Dragon, who is still an extremely good player, even on American servers. So Ion does have his work cut out for him. Ion has absolutely proven himself in recent games, recent leagues, as a player to watch for any captains anywhere. But as before, as I said, Mount Zero is a slugfest map by definition. From its inception, we have no flags on the board, and there's corpses everywhere. Every spawn points towards that checkpoint in the middle, which is critical to control as a defender. And the flag there is no hard cover for a flag carrier to go. It requires their team to push up at the very moment the flag gets touched.
Yeah, Ion actually had a good shot there, but he sat a little too long in that room. He was waiting for it to clear, and just like that, PK3 gets the first cap. And that's really bad news for BNZ. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened with Hate, but they've really got to adjust now. They don't have a lot of room for error here.
And this will be it if they end up losing this game. So the pressure is absolutely on. They can't let PK3 get out with any more flags. And that is some excellent work we were watching from BNZ through the eyes of 1 HP.
Yeah, that was great. Great job. Just as I said that, you know, sometimes you need a little encouragement from your fellow casters, you know?
Yeah, you know, the casting team sending out the good vibes through the void, the ether. But that shows, in effect, that does show how harsh it can be when you first capture a flag. because then you have to watch out for the rebound. You have all this pressure of their entire team bearing down on you, which can result in a catback. Honestly, it's tough to defend against that on a map like map 31.
I want to know the origins of catback. I think I remember hearing that. It was just kind of something you came up with, like in the middle of a stream, right?
Yeah, I think I don't remember if I came up with it or it was a co-host, but we came up with the terms catback for that rebound capture that ends up happening right after you score, or a recap, which is like a back-to-back flag capture. Some terminology we're trying to, I guess, establish to clear the airwaves, so to speak, but what isn't clear are either of these bases. The flags,
That's right.
the frags are absolutely out of control.
Yeah, you're not going to find catback in Webster's dictionary, but you are going to find it here on this stream. But Ion did a really good job getting that capture, so, you know, for BNZ, Hate looks like he's back in the server, but Ion's been doing some good stuff here, so I don't know if you want to keep... he's got a chance to... Really close there. Almost had a chance to score that, so or return that.
And good work from BNC to find to get one more flag capture out. Now for the first time in the series, they have taken the lead.
Yep.
There is synergy. There is a lot of. Go ahead.
No, it just looks like they've decided to keep Ion in, even though Hate is back. So that's a really good confidence booster for a newer player like Ion to get a chance, and he's doing some awesome stuff here.
Yeah, watching Stallion a bit, just that human turret. While Ion tries to get up top, like a lot of the, for those who don't know, taking that top route can be helpful for a lot of players, but some do opt to go through that middle choke point. It really does depend on who's in front of you by the time you turn around and get that split-second look at the enemy base.
Yeah, and that's the thing that makes casting Doom so hard, is that this map kind of epitomizes that split-second decision you've got to make when you have the flag. You know, do I bolt out to the middle, or do I take the long way and kind of stretch it out? And, you know, because there's really, like you've mentioned, no real hiding spot. They will know where you are if they can't find you in the base almost immediately. So do you kind of play around with them, or do you just bolt out? It's a really tough decision to make in a split second.
And we've seen relatively little of carriers coming up to that top side area with the green armor to kind of camp out and wait things out. Pretty much every touch has resulted in them trying to escape the base as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm just liking what I'm seeing here from BNZ. I mean, you could not have probably faced more adversity as Hate Daddy continues to time out.
Yeah, he continues to time out. We're going to switch to a free cam because trying to spy next to everybody is it can provide a little bit of motion sickness for some, I imagine.
Now let's take the frags real quick too.
Why don't you read those off, because I actually cannot pull them up on my scoreboard.
All right, so PK3, they're all pretty even on their team. IM1 has 69 frags, Toby's got 62, Dragon has 66. Jump on over to BNZ, Ion has 48, Xwiz has 56, and this is the one I wanted to point out. Stal currently has 99 frags, now he's hit 100. So there's a huge gap between Stal and the next person. So I think that's probably the difference maker on this, and why this map was such a good choice for BNZ, because you have someone like Stal who, you know, he might get 130 frags when all is said and done. So that's a difference maker right there.
And we're talking about BNZ. I mean, all the action with the flags is happening in PK3's base. They are pretty much being forced out by Stallion single-handedly. I'm not seeing any like blue carriers make it, honestly, past that midway point in the red base.
Now, 111 frags for Stal, 112. I played this map in the WDL. I believe I got 117 frags, and that's the WDL record, which I think is actually really hard to do in a 10-minute match. But Stal is saying, "Fuck you! I'm gonna beat your record." As he approaches 114 frags. That's an insane amount for someone playing across an ocean.
Yeah, it does get a little bit tougher playing with some latency, even though Xenaero does compensate for it fairly well. You do have to, I mean, Doom is a game of split-second reaction time. The pace is unmatched, so your reflexes must follow.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually probably gotten easier for Stal to get some frags here, because at this point, we've got 30 seconds left in this round. PK3 is probably just throwing bodies at the flag. You know, they're doing what they can to try and get a score here. But if BNZ can hold on, they're going to get their first win of this matchup, and that is going to extend things and make it really interesting as the match goes on. Very nice return.
And Toby spawned directly next to the carrier, hiding, and it forced a return as round 3 ends. Our first round ending by time limit, showing that map 31, unless teams are unmatched, you're pretty much going to see a time limit finish to that map pretty much every round.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was just some incredible work. Like, honestly, if you're involved in a game like this and you lose your first 2 maps, you get onto your own home field, and then, you know, your stalwart player times out. You got to throw in your 4th, and you still win. I mean, to go against that kind of adversity, I think momentum is now on BNZ's side. PK3 is like probably sitting there going, we should have had that. You know, we should have scored more caps while they had a player out.
Well, now they might field Chain, because 1 HP might sit and Chain might play. We'll see what happens. No, they're fielding the same exact players as we go into round 4 in this quarterfinal match between PK3 and BNZ in Vengeance League. You can find more Doom-related activities on the multiplayer side at doomfederation.com.
This is true. So it looks like BNZ has decided to keep Ion in, which is a great decision. Real difference maker last round for them.
Yeah, both Ion and 1 HP staying in on this ridiculously crazy slugfest map. Map 0 made by Tango. We are in round 4, for anyone just joining us. The current scores are 2 rounds for PK3 and 1 round for BNZ. One more if PK3 reverses momentum and is able to come out a victor in this map, then they will be taking the series. So pressure is on BNZ to do a reverse sweep, more or less.
Yeah, basically, if BNZ can do their reverse sweep by starting off and winning this map, they're going to go back to PK3's home field, which, of course, as we've seen, they were not able to win, and they lost in a pretty decisive way. So, you know, if they can win this one and carry the momentum over, perhaps they keep Ion in instead of Hate. But it looks like Hate's connection is stable now. He is in the server, ready to play if needed.
Well, with him timing out twice last round, it could be... He might recognize that it could be a risk, but that is a decision for them to make, which, you know, with the advent of modern communication technology, it helps greatly. There really isn't a whole lot to call on this map in particular. It's more just, hey, there's guys everywhere.
Right. I mean, we actually rescoring. Yeah. I'm not really sure how, but
I'm not sure when Dragon actually ended up scoring, but they are ahead. So there's even more pressure on BNZ right now to tie it up and also take it back.
What's that up in the road ahead? That's right. So let's see if BNZ can get this back. You know, PK3 scored first in the last map as well, but BNZ was right there to match it within a minute. So we haven't seen that yet. So just a little bit more adversity piled on to BNZ's shoulders here.
And we'll watch Ion here for a second as round 4 gets a little bit more firmly underway. 3 minutes have elapsed, 7 minutes left to go. And I don't think we'll be seeing a flag capture limit being reached in this round either, meaning these couple maps are a test of endurance. And as far as familiarity goes, this map is far more familiar, having been played over many years at high level CTF competition.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting for me. I always found it difficult to Like, let's say I have a game where I've gotten 100 and whatever, 21 frags like Stal did. You go into the next round, I always found it hard to follow that up. You know, like, you're always like, man, I expended so much energy in that first map. Like, I don't think I can do quite as much. But if you look at Stal, I mean, we're less than halfway through, and he's already got 40 frags. So he's keeping up the momentum here. Ion gets a good pickup, but he's not able to get out.
Having a reliable defender like Stallion makes all the difference in the world in a very flat, very strong, frag-heavy map like this one. That means you can put more pressure on offense. And that's what BNC is trying to do, but they still have nothing on the board. And time's ticking. Like, we're coming up on 5 minutes left. Ion did try to get out, as we saw through the eyes of X-Wiz, but now X-Wiz with a touch. Out to mid, past mid, body block. Return the flag.
Yeah, that was pretty scary right there. I mean, they could have... Let's see, I think they're going to get the return here. In
fact, it's a return for PK3, and they're able to score 2-0 over their opponents.
Yeah, Ion had a chance to return it, but he missed that shot, and Dragon, you know, Dragon is not one to typically miss shots, so... Yeah, kind of a tough break for BNZ, but there's still 5 minutes left. As we saw from that standoff, they are not incapable of getting a flag across in this round. So,
and that is how playoffs go in Doom Capture the Flag nowadays. You can miss a single shot, and it can alter a lot.
Absolutely.
There is very little or no margin for error the way how good players are nowadays.
Yeah, and on a map like this where things are just so split second, it's really hard to make any mistakes and have it be in your favor. You know who's really stepped up their game this round is Toby. Toby has, I don't believe Toby was defending last round, but I think they've switched him to defense in this round, and it's made all the difference. He is going on sprees left and right. He's not fragging. Actually, I'm sorry. Toby is now leading in frags in the round, so Stal's momentum from round 3 hasn't really carried over as much in the frag department.
And Toby does have that crispy low ping that helps defenders so much. I can't imagine defending with 30 ping. It must be like butter.
Yeah, we'll never do that.
I mean, Toby, if he's leading in frags, then he's doing an excellent job for his team. This is a tough map to reliably defend on, because you're just faced with an onslaught.
Yeah, I saw in the chat that someone said Toby is a lot better than I thought. And here's the misconception. People think that because Toby doesn't necessarily participate in the everyday Doom activities, you know, that his skills have diminished. Well, that's not the case. And the same thing happened in the WDL last season, where I was able to grab Toby for $1, and everyone just goes kind of like, "Oh, who's Toby?" Well, I'll show you who the fuck Toby is, and Toby will show you who he is, and he's doing that in this round too.
And I mean, that is a facet of the community that, you know, if you're not there as much of a loudmouth as pretty much the rest of us, or you're not breaking records left and right, you may not get noticed as much, but that doesn't mean that you're not a good player. Toby and Ion have truly made names for themselves in the last year or so.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, Toby being that veteran player who's been around for quite a while, and Ion being brand new, you'd think almost a good train there from Ion.
Yeah, there was like the entire team was surrounding the flag carrier there, and you thought maybe, hey, we could try to chain it up to the flag. No such luck. 2 minutes 30 seconds left, with PK3 still having a stranglehold of 2 flag margin. This might be curtains for BNZ if something miraculous doesn't unfold here.
Well, at this point, you got 2 minutes left. What do you do? I mean, obviously you change something up, but, you know, you almost might want to leave yourselves a little bit vulnerable. And by that, I mean taking Stal off of defense and running 3-0 as we get to 3-0 and flags.
Toby holding down the flag as his teammates come flying in at warp 9 with the enemy flag. 3-0 for PK3. It's... God, I don't see a way forward for BNZ at all.
I don't either. Like I said, you know, you can basically give up on defense and try and get as many flags across as possible, but 3 flags on any map I mean, 3 flags when you're playing against nobody is hard to do in a minute and 25 seconds. But you know, in a playoff game on map 31, it's near impossible. So.
And I wouldn't even go as far to venture to say that Hatred's timeout was pivotal in this result. I think that they played very well with Ion.
Absolutely.
I think it was just extremely tough to play against players like Toby and Dragon on a map like this with low ping. I mean, that is how it is. This is a very ping-dependent map in terms of frags. Even on offense, you have to chew your way through these spawns.
Yeah, and I mean, look at look at Dragon and Toby now. Yeah. So their frags have just popped. I mean, Dragon's almost at 100, Toby's almost at 100. As they score their 4th flag. So, you know, unfortunately for BNZ, like you mentioned, I don't think Hate's timeout did have anything to do with it, because I actually think it helped them. They weren't able to get what they needed out of that lineup in this match. So they threw Ion in. It was almost like a jolt of, a jolt of energy for them.
There's a ton of action going on in the corner of that part of mid.
Yeah.
Just like every player imaginable shoving themselves in that corner, trying to pick up the red flag. But looks like going.
You might see 3 players with 100 frags, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But I mean, players have definitely gotten better with aim over the years. And that's it. I mean, PK3 comes ahead, winning 3 rounds to 1. They will be advancing to face EDR, or what? No. What's their abbreviation?
Yeah, it will be PK3 will be facing EDR, Educated Drug Dealer.
Yep, they'll be facing the number 1 seed, I believe.
Which is gonna be a fucking great matchup, because all these players know each other so well. And PK3, I mean, you know, they were so dominant on their own home field, and then they came back. You know, they lost round 3, and they just battled back. You know, they didn't give up. And they took it over in 4 rounds. So really good performance from PK3. Unfortunately, you know, this means the end of BNZ's season. But, you know, if anything, I think we got to see Ion become, you know, a little bit more of a notable player. I mean, everyone knew how good he was, but he did some awesome stuff on stream and in games. He should not be disappointed with himself at all. Good job, Ion.
I mean, BNZ took it to 4 rounds, and even if you do end up losing on maps like these, even if it is a familiarity issue on an enemy team's home field, even if you are outmatched on a European server, you took it to 4 rounds, you should be proud of that. That is a tough margin to make in a game like Doom Capture the Flag in the state that it is in today. Players are very good, plays are fast, and games are quick. So congratulations to PK3. They will be advancing to the next round, and we'll be waving goodbye to BNZ. We'll see you next time. And if you're the viewer are still around in just a couple hours at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern, we'll be watching the next game. And which teams will we be playing? Will we be watching, Bones?
Well, we'll be watching Save Our Souls and the Chosen Ones. And Save Our Souls has the higher seed there. They're the 4 seed. Their home field is map 7, Obsidian Outpost, which is from Core CTF. And the Chosen Ones, of course, have Daston, so naturally their home field is map 8, Something Epic. So we'll get to see some really good matchups there with those players.
All right, well, as always, a pleasure to have Commissioner of the Multiplayer Doom Federation, HumanBones. Link is in the Twitch chat there. This VOD will be uploaded to the Multiplayer Doom Federation YouTube. And I am Xenaero. I will be signing off, and I will see you guys in a couple hours. Thanks for watching, and we'll play out with the theme for this season of Vengeance League. Don't go too far.